I've been dumped by Hobbii Yarn by email, which is very modern but a little cold. So if you follow any yarn people from Australia, New Zealand, Japan or Hong Kong, you will have heard about this because it is quite the topic of conversation. Because Hobbii is a large retailer with a consistently decent and well-priced yarn range. So they're very popular. And they have decided that they don't want to talk to us anymore, that they don't care about our feelings. That's not true. It's all business. Anyway, this is my very last Hobbii order. Unless they look at all our sad little faces and decide to change their minds, that's not going to happen. This is my very last Hobbii order, which I'm going to open in a minute, possibly a bit longer than a minute, because I have things to talk about. If you're not interested in the things that I'm going to talk about, which is how Hobbii announced their decision and also where to buy yarn in Australia, you don't have to be interested in those things. That's fine. If you go to this timestamp, assuming I've remembered to put that in there, we'll open this then. Some of this is mystery yarn, so I don't know what it is. And some of it I don't know what I bought. I can't remember. So we'll find out together. I'm going to put this down for now though because it's rustly. Now there's a couple of things that I want to talk about in relation to this Hobbii closure. The first is how Hobbii handled the closure, because it wasn't very good. And the second is where to buy yarn in Australia, because according to the Facebook comments, there is nowhere else in Australia to buy reasonably priced yarn. And there is therefore no more yarn in Australia, and therefore we will be crocheting and knitting with our own hair. The fact of the matter is, plenty of places to buy reasonably priced yarn in Australia. It's going to be okay. The communication of this closure to Australia was really weird, and I don't know if it was the same for New Zealand, Japan and Hong Kong. But we got an email on around the 20th, 21st of May stating that the Australian website would cease operations on the 1st of June, which was a weird thing to say because there isn't an Australian Hobbii website, never has been. We order through the United States site. What they probably meant was Australian accounts would be closing on the 1st of June. Now my account is still there, but if I try and check out, if I try and get to the payment page, it says my address is invalid and asks if I'd rather move to Canada, which I kind of wouldn't mind at the moment. It seems like a nice place. Anyway, it's not worth moving to Canada just so I can buy yarn. I'm going to keep telling myself that. So it was badly communicated. There was mass confusion on the Facebook page, people thinking it was a scam or a phishing attempt. Hobbii customer service had to come in and say, no, sorry, this is true. I think they sent a second email to say, sorry, this is what we meant. It's literally just logistics and shipping costs. Although, having said that, as an Australian, if Hobbii had said, look, our $14.99, $15 flat rate shipping is not working to get things to Australia, as an Australian, I'd be okay with, you know, more shipping, paying more shipping. But I understand that that is going to throw their systems into disarray or whatever. I'm not here to beg Hobbii for forgiveness. I shouldn't have to. It is disappointing that we lost access to such a good range of yarn, and it is disappointing that it was so badly handled. However, it's not the end of the world. We do have other options. So some of these places I'm about to mention are places where I buy yarn a little too regularly, and some places are just ones that I've seen recommended on the Facebook page for Hobbii Yarns from people saying there are absolutely places in Australia to buy reasonably priced yarn. Everyone have a cup of tea and a sit down. It's going to be okay. So this is not sponsored, by the way. These companies don't know I'm about to talk about them. And we're going to start with my very, very favourite, my go-to, my absolute first click should I need a particular colour is Bendigo Woollen Mills. Couple of reasons. It's quality yarn and you get a lot of it. So this is the size of a Bendigo Woollen Mills ball. The classic retails for about $16 at the moment and you get 200 grams. This is not the classic, this is the rustic tweed in Wild Violet, so this was $22. But you get so much yarn for your money. And you also can get a free shade card. Now some companies charge for their shade cards. Bendigo Woollen Mills, you can get one free. I don't know if that's true internationally actually, but in Australia they're free. Little shade card so you can see what all the colours look like. And then next year when they publish a new one, you'll get another one for free. Great yarn. I've never actually been to the Bendigo Woollen Mills. It's not that far away, I should go. But I feel like I would just tell them to load the car up and then I would have to sell a kidney. So Bendigo Woollen Mills is my go-to, my huge recommendation. Always quality yarn, always fabulous colours. Please buy some yarn from Bendigo Woollen Mills. I'm trying to get the job in advertising. Right, what else have we got? Thread Collective. So Thread Collective is predominantly very weaving focused, but they do have a lot of knitting and crochet yarns and they are expanding that range as well. They sell a lot of things by the cone, and this I'm going to have to leave to someone in my will. I am not getting through this. I've got 3 of these. And I think, well, this was on discount, so it was about $20. Reasonable prices for a lot of yarn on cones. and a good selection of different yarns and fibre types. So Thread Collective, also great. Now Spotlight, contentious, controversial. Spotlight yarn is considered to be shit. And that's about 50% accurate. The Spotlight own brand yarn, which I believe is called Motivera, do correct me if I'm wrong, is hit and miss. So if you're going to buy Spotlight own brand yarn, if you can actually get to a Spotlight shop and touch it, I would do that rather than ordering it online. It is really hit and miss. But Spotlight also carry name brands like Lion Brand, and they also have really, really good sales at times. They take a big discount. Sometimes it's 80% off yarn or whatever. Clearance yarn, good prices. So Spotlight itself is hit and miss with the quality of their yarn, but if you can grab their brand name yarns at a discount, definitely worth doing. But yes, the Motivera it's hit and miss. So another one that has come up a lot, and I have ordered yarn from them, is called CraftyU. They have a physical shop in New South Wales somewhere. Stop me if I get too specific or accurate. So I've never been because I don't live in New South Wales. They have a huge range of yarn, and they also stock a lot of the American brands like Red Heart that can be harder to find over here at decent prices. So CraftyU is a good option for yarn. Now, not based in Australia, based in Turkey, is Ice Yarns. This is a weird shop. It's a weird place, Ice Yarns. You don't buy a single ball of yarn at Ice Yarns, you buy a package of yarn. So if you buy like the cake yarns, which are the round flat cakes that look like that, am I helping? You'll get 2 in a pack. Or you might, if the smaller ball, the 50-gram balls, you might get 12 in a pack. So you always buy a packet of yarn. Postage is not flat rate, so have a good look at that before you check out. But overall, I've ordered a lot of Ice Yarns over the years. When I was in a crochet group, they were like the worst enablers for Ice Yarns. So I've ordered a lot. It's always been reasonable quality. The only 2 things I would say is that postage can be painful. You can play a little game with yourself where you load your cart up with all of the yarn that you want, and then you can take out 1 packet at a time and see when the postage drops until it's a reasonable level for what you want to spend on postage. The other way you can justify it to yourself, I'm here to help, is look at the postage, divide it by the number of balls of yarn you've got in your cart, and realise that it's actually not that much more expensive, and just go with it. So that's me helping you. I'm helping you. The other thing about Ice Yarns is sometimes they can have a very strong chemical smell from the dye. So if you are sensitive to chemicals, open your parcel outside, let things air. That will always wash out. I've never had anything that I've washed that still smells of chemicals. So Ice Yarns, good bulk yarn. I have had no complaints with any of the Ice Yarns I've ever purchased. Now, some that I have not tried, I've got my list down here. One of the yarns that people are really upset to be losing access to is the chenille type yarn for making soft toys, like that really fluffy, thick, chunky yarn. So there is a company called Source of Fibre in Australia that is selling 2 kinds of chunky yarn. They've got a velvet and a corduroy, and they both look really soft and lush. I haven't ordered them. I must get onto it. But that's worth having a look if you're making soft toys. Wangaratta Woollen Mills stocks a lot of the Australian Yarn Co stuff like Cleckheaton. They also have their own yarn that they make at the mills, so that's worth having a look at. I'm being very helpful to you right now with my list. Last but not least, the Wool Warehouse is in the UK, and they will post for a flat rate of £7 to Australia. Huge range of yarns, definitely worth having a look at. The thing to keep in mind is the exchange rates with any of these sites that are overseas like Ice Yarns and the Wool Warehouse. The Australian dollar is never very strong against either the US dollar or the British pound. At the moment, at time of recording, 10 US dollars will cost 15 Australian dollars, and 10 British pounds will cost you $20. So it's worth checking your exchange rate before you check out, because otherwise you might look at your credit card and have to have a bit of a sit down. So that is all I have to blather on. So it is time to open my very final Hobbii Yarn package. And I tried to rip my address label off, and everything but my address ripped off, so we're decorative. But it's time, it is time. This has been kicking around all day. I've been very patient and very strong, and I'm no longer patient or strong, so let's get this open. Now, quite a few people said that they felt the 10% discount voucher was insulting and that it wasn't enough to compensate for losing access to an entire yarn shop. And I would have taken part in that conversation was I not very busy adding things to my cart. So, as I said, some of these things I can remember what they are. Some of them are going to be a surprise to us all. And there is a mystery bag in here as well. And these are not good scissors. But they're also not my good scissors. So, you know, I'm not using my good scissors for this. Should I just rip? No, here we go, look. Okay. Oh, this is shiny and a little bit chaotic. Did I just cut it? I don't know. So we're going to start with this. I don't think I did cut it. I think it's just what they call yarn barfy. So this is Go Handmade Tencel and Bamboo. The tencel, or tencel, depends on how you want to pronounce it. I say tencel. I might be wrong. I don't know. There's an asterisk on that. What's that about? Oh, that's all right. It's just saying that it's tencel lyocell. It's fine. So this is the colour Curry, and I've got 4. So that should be enough for a nice soft drapey scarf. It's a very nice colour. It's shiny. Okay, here we have, I'm going to finish a sentence at any point now. When I did my final order, I also spent all of my loyalty points, which I didn't have a huge amount of because I don't buy a ton of Hobbii yarn, so I wasn't earning a lot of points. And I was saving up for a particular ball of yarn that I think was 9,000 points, and I just didn't get there. I didn't get anywhere near it. So I did spend my loyalty points on these 2 very exciting items. I've got a little pair of embroidery scissors, or snips, and I went with the rainbow ones. I don't know that they're showing up very well, but they are rainbow. And also a packet of tapestry needles, because I always need more tapestry needles. These are the pony ones, and they are black and white. I'll show you one. It's exciting. In fact, I'll show you them all because I've just opened the packet. That's very badly lit. I don't want to move my light. It's been a situation. So yeah, they're black and white. They're not nickel plated, and they're just going to go in my tapestry needle collection, mostly for doing hem stitching on weaves. So this is good because I've just picked up a cross stitch again after many, many months. So what else have I got in here? Oh wow, quite a lot of stuff. Okay, yeah, no, I remember. So this is Candy Pop, and I don't know that that's showing up very well. Again, I've got the light situation. So this is a textured yarn. Well, that's very not showing up. This is a textured yarn. What I'm going to do is zoom in. That's a bit better. So that's a textured yarn. It's got texture. It's very, very thin. It's very, very fine, as you might be able to see. But it's got these little pops or puffs. This is going on the loom. If it's not strong enough for warp, and I suspect it won't be, then I'll just use it as weft. So that's the Candy Pop. This I've been looking at for a long time, and I figured this is my last chance. I don't know how it's going to weave up, but it should be interesting. Now, over here, what have we got here? So this one is Rococo Linen Multi, which is viscose, cotton, and linen. I love how they put linen in the names of these things when linen is like the least present fibre. It's just marketing. I think I've got a couple of these in this colourway, which is called something. It's definitely called something. It's got a name, I bet. It is colour 2. That's good. Descriptive. So I've got a couple of those because I just liked the colourway. And then I've got this one, which is the same Rococo Linen Multi in this green and grey, because I have a cake of grey, or half a cake of grey cotton that I've been wanting to do something with, and I think this will work quite well. And it is half a cake of grey cotton from Hobbii, so I think that that's a fair and fitting use of that yarn that I keep moving out of my stash and then putting back. Alright, what else have we got in here? So, this is the last, the label's come off, it's naked. Don't look, it's naked yarn. The label has really burst off that. That is Dream Colour. This is, what is this? Dream Colour. I went all the way around. Here we go. This is 100% wool. It is the colourway 117. Again, beautiful and descriptive. So it's that kind of autumn browns and greens and a little bit of blue, which is not particularly autumny, but it's a little bit autumnal. So I just grabbed that. I think it was on special because that's how I shop at Hobbii. Now, that is all of the ones, yes. So that is everything that I ordered on purpose. Oh, my very last Hobbii lolly. I should put it in the shrine. I'm kidding, I'm joking. So this is a kilo. You can't see that very well because I have zoomed in. I'm going to move this around so that you can get, like, really no idea of what's going on. This is one of the lucky bags. This is 1 kilogram of cotton. I don't know what's in it other than the fact that it's cotton. So we're finding out together what I got in my lucky bag. I'm just going to move the other yarn out of the way. Cotton is always handy to have in the stash. It always makes a very good warp. It matches up. So if you've got like fine yarns, oh, these are terrible scissors. If you've, hang on, we're just gonna go for it. So if you've got like a really fine yarn that you can't use as warp, you can always stick some cotton on the loom and do it that way. See, I'm helpful. I'm giving you many tips. Cotton is good to have on hand. I am predominantly trying to work from stash at the moment, apart from this, which doesn't count. So this entirely new bag of yarn, that doesn't count. But I am mostly working from stash if I can. So I wanted some cotton to sit in the stash and be useful with other yarns. This is my justification. So I've got Friends Cotton 8/4 in a sort of, let's be honest, that's beige. Beige is, wow, there are not a lot of brights in here. Wow, okay, that's fine and good, because as I said, cotton goes with things. So I've got that. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. There we go, that's a little bit of breathing space. I've got some white, which is cotton 8/8. That's not white, that's blue, more blue. Some greens, another green. This teal, aqua teal, teal aqua teal, I don't know. Green, some more grey, more green, a lot of green at the Hobbii. Oh, here we go. There's an autumnal. I am more of a warm colours person. I'm not saying that to complain about what's in my cotton bag. This was a mystery. It was never going to be able to pick my colours. It's all fine because, as I said, these can be used for other projects. These can be matched with wools and things that I have in my stash already. Quite a lot of green. I could probably do one just in that whole green. I'm just going to move these because you've seen them. There we go. That went really well and tidy, so I'm pleased. Pretend that went well. Another green. That tealy bluey, tealy green, teal blue colour. There's another one of those. And one more green. So it's predominantly green, white and grey. And another little lolly, which will also go in the shrine. So this was a good bargain for cotton. I've got a lot of cotton to put in my stash and match with other things. Always good warp. These ones I'm really happy with. I love the shine on this. That's probably next on the loom. Although I say that a lot and then that, like I change my mind on whim. But anyway, that's all I have for you for this video. I just wanted to share with you the momentous occasion of my final Hobbii order. And I'm glad you were here. And this is so shiny. I wish I'd ordered more of this. But I can't. I am not allowed. It is somehow illegal. You take care of yourself. Have a lovely rest of your week. I'm going to go and sort this into my stash. I said that like I've got a sorted stash. I do not. I have a box of yarn which sits on top of the other boxes of yarn. So I'm going to go and put these in a box with the rest of the yarn. You take care of yourself. Have a lovely rest of your week. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.